Welcome back. It's episode two, America's Teams in Dodger Blue, the podcast that is all about Lambeau, the Lone Star in LA, and everything else sports. I'm your host, Michael, and here's my co-host, Aiden.
What's up, guys?
Today we have a lot to talk about, but we're actually going to start with our special guest today. So I'll throw that over to Aiden, give a little background on who we're going to have joining us here in a second.
Yeah, we're gonna have Fernando joining us real quick. He's a cross country standout, and I'm extremely excited to introduce him to everybody. It's gonna be really fun, and he's extremely excited to have everything getting kicked off. So,
So even though we just started, we'll cut real quick and we'll go cut to when he's joined. And we're back with our special guest, Fernando. Fernando, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing
Thank you.
today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
I just want to say I'm a sophomore and I'm majoring in kinesiology and I'm a student athlete, so I'm happy to be here.
What events do you run? Give the people a little background about who you are.
Well, I run both cross country and track and field, and my main events are 800 and the 15.
Mhm.
Sometimes occasionally I would run the 5K. Just like in my freshman year, I run a 10K as well, but yeah, I keep it mid distance.
yeah,
And then
really impressive stuff.
little background, and then where are you from? A little background on where are you from?
I'm from a small town called San Capistrano. It's in the direction of San Diego down there. It's a really nice town. I grew up there pretty much my whole life, and I came here because of the coach of the cross country team. He reached out of any other school around, like he was the only one to reach out really, and that meant a lot.
Perfect. Aiden, you want to get into some questions we have?
Absolutely, bro. That's really cool to hear about that, Fernando. You're a good friend of mine, man. You're a really nice guy. So I really appreciated you coming out with us, bro, for sure.
Thank you.
So, first one, bro, I think this is probably one of the coolest questions about you, dog, is can you talk to us about that record, the new record that you guys were able to set, that men's distance relay. I thought that was so impressive that you were a part of that, bro. Like you guys were able to etch your name into Laverne history. And were you guys even aware that you guys were making history? So just talk to me what that was all about and what it means to you.
Yeah, well, we were like very excited for the event to come up, really. I don't feel like anybody in our team in that school record team, like nobody felt really nervous in general. Like it was really good. Like when we were breaking it down to figure out like who's running what leg, um we obviously looked at who can go faster at like less distance. Who's the fastest for least distance, like a 800, and who's the fastest for like a 16 or 1200. So we started it off with Destino Soto. He's a freshman, and we ended up having him go for the 1200, which is the first leg. And the reason why we had him do that is because in a lot of the workouts we do, he's been so good with like sticking on that man. Like he's been really good at that. Like he isn't the greatest with like, catching up to people, but when sticking on people, like he can do that for the whole race, which is really impressive by him. And then from there we went to 800. Oh no, the 400, and of course we had to go with Isaac Stockton. He's literally like he's like both a distance and sprinter. Like that man can do anything pretty much. And we just had him do the 400 because of his speed, of course. And then Finn McClure, he's my roommate actually. He ended up running the 800 because he has a pretty fast time in that. And I ended up running the last leg which was the 16, so pretty much a mile. And honestly, through the thought process, I did get a little nervous, not gonna lie, when it started getting to my turn, because like they were passing the baton, it was getting faster and faster, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm next. Um, but like honestly, for me, like I love sitting and kicking. What that means is like I'd be on the person ahead of me, like right behind them, like just sit right there. So pretty much that's what it means to sit and then kick on the last 100 meters or last lap or anything like that. But I felt very confident once I got the baton. I was like, man, I feel great. I feel great. Like my legs weren't sore or anything. Like I felt like I was flying through that. But it was a surreal feeling for sure. Like I didn't know we got that record when we did. I was like, it was just a surreal feeling, really. It took a second to realize that we broke a record in the school, but after a little while, we're like, yeah, like don't brush this off. This is good. We're gonna keep on getting more records. Hopefully the 800, the 8 by no, the 4 by 8. Hopefully they'll be getting that record as well. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
How
awesome,
long?
bro.
How long after did you guys find out?
we literally found out that like right when I finished, pretty much. Like they
Oh,
were
really?
all
Oh
timing it and
wow.
everything. Yeah. And
That's fire.
I was like really out of it at the time because like I was just like I just finished. I was like, oh my gosh, it's finally done. But yeah, we knew pretty much instantly, and I believe we broke it by like 4 seconds. And
Oh
our team
shit.
consisted of one freshman and three sophomores,
Oh wow.
Wow. I was gonna say
so it's
that's a big
pretty good.
distance.
Yeah, future of cross country is looking really good for our school.
Thank you.
Holy, that's insane, dude. That's awesome. And in a perfect segue for that, you're talking about your teammates a lot, bro. And that was gonna be one of my next questions. And what do they mean to you, bro? I heard like you said that one of them was your excuse me, your roommate,
Yeah.
Finn. That's just such a cool thing that you guys already seem very close. And I'm just like, wow, you guys were very connected throughout that whole race. Like, what do they mean to you, bro? Just give me a little rundown of that.
Honestly, like there's no I in the team. Like you need teammates. Like any sport in general, like well most sports at least, like it consists of a team. A lot of people think that cross country and track are, personal. Yeah, there's personal records and all, but like you need a team around that. You need like a good supportive team. And I feel like here in Laverne, since it's a lot smaller too, like we connect very well. Like all of us love being around each other. I mean, that's the reason why a lot of us are still here. Like we're still together. Like we grew like a really strong bond, and me and Finn grew even stronger bond over this last semester or two, because I never had him as a roommate, but like I literally see him every day. So yeah, it's really
Pretty
nice
cool.
to have these kind of teammates that always are so supportive and that are always just there for you, pretty much.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a brotherhood, man. That's really awesome stuff.
Yeah,
One
pretty
of my
much it is.
last, yeah, you're good, man. One of my last questions is gonna be, so what is it like? What does it do physically for your body and mentally as well as a student? Because obviously you're here to learn as well. You're in the school. What does it mean being a student athlete for both track and cross country? Because you're technically doing two sports, so you can say you're a two sport athlete. What type of like pressure and what type of like toll does that take on you, especially now because you're very young, you're a sophomore?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I try not to think of the pressure. Like, I of course there's pressure, yeah, but like at the end of the day, you gotta like be strong. You can't feel like you nervous every single race. You can't feel like, oh man, like the expectations are so high for me. Like you gotta run your race. You gotta do you. You got to do what's best for you. And obviously, yeah, running fast is like the goal, but like you want to make sure you're like in your comfort zone. And obviously, of course, it's good to like get out of your comfort zone to be comfortable. Like I love that as well. But I think it's just really good as well. Can you repeat the question again? I
Now you're
like
good to go, bro. That's honestly,
How
I don't
wait?
need more
that's
from you,
because
bro. That's
How
okay,
great.
does
gotcha.
how does it transfer? How does running track and cross country? How does that transfer over? How would you that mentality transfer over to like being a student athlete?
Oh yeah,
Like,
gotcha. Well, it like really strengthens the mind, really. Like it tells you like it's like a lot of self-talk, really, like with any exams or like anything to study or like homework, just anything academic related. I feel like it just makes you like stronger minded compared to other people that don't run sports, but like or do sports in general. But it doesn't mean that anybody who doesn't do sports like has that mentality, but like it's usually with people who are in sports, like they have like a different drive, to themselves. And of course, my coach also brings up the fact that it's student athlete. Student comes first, then athlete. So like that's really important to us, like, our academics. But yeah, it's really helpful, I'd say.
That's awesome, man. Last question, at least on my part, man. I just want to ask the impact that cross country and running in general has had on your life.
Oh man. For me, like I remember when I first like played first sport I played was soccer. I loved it. I would usually be a starter, but then like I switched to basketball, I believe in high school. and I didn't get much playing time, and it was perfectly fine. What's it called? I wasn't the greatest basketball player there. But the cross country coach there, like, talked to me about it, like, like cross country, you don't get benched really. Like you can run on your own, like that's you. You get all those minutes. And ever since then, like I've been running in cross country and track. And I feel like it's just been so good for my mental health, my health in general. Like it's been amazing. Like it's changed my life. I don't know where I'd be without it, really. So like it's great.
That's awesome, bro. What a great answer. And yeah, you should. That's all on my part at least, man. You're all good to go. I
All
didn't want
right,
to take
thank you,
too much
man.
time out of you, but dude,
Oh, you're all good. You're all good.
yeah,
Yeah, but
I just
super
want
happy
to,
for you, bro.
and we just want to say, just thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Is there anything else you have to say, or anything else you want to add about yourself?
I would say no, nothing else. Just go Leopards. But yeah, just thank you guys again for inviting me to this. It was an honor to be a part of this.
Of course, Nando.
Of course, thank you.
Have a good
All
one.
right,
Thank
and
you.
we're gonna cut and we'll get right into all we have to talk about later. We got a lot coming up. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
And we're back. Our great guest Fernando. Thank you so much to him. We actually got a lot to dive in today, especially me. So I'm gonna let Aiden go first with his sports news because I feel like I'm gonna just be talking for a little bit. So Aiden, go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to hear what you got to say. So I'll start everything off, kind of loosen it up. Yeah, so I would first like to start talking about is the NFL Combine. We got the draft coming up. I think that's a really cool thing, area of discussion. There were a little bit of standouts as well, and everybody wants to know who had the fastest dash time, who had the biggest bench, the most amount of reps. So I'll be here to tell everybody. So cornerback Maxwell Harrison had the fastest dash time. It was a 4.28. That's really impressive when Worthy's was just a little bit slower than that. I mean, just a little faster, excuse me. So yeah, you got to give him credit. Really, really fast guy. And the future looks really bright. I mean, there's guys that didn't even participate in the draft. There's guys like
Genty.
Genty, he didn't do it. Yeah, Genty didn't do it. There's also, the big guy. There's Hunter, Travis Hunter. He didn't do it as well. So you got to give credit to these guys who are actually going out there and performing and really doing their best to put their name in draft stock for sure. And then in the
Hey,
terms of the
but
bench
fair
press,
play, to those guys. I mean, you don't really need to go combine. I mean, look at the film for both of them.
exactly.
Just
Yeah,
there's no
no, they're
need to
doing an
risk
excellent
risk that.
job. Yeah, they don't want to risk injury at all. They're doing an excellent job as well. But there are guys that really do need to put their name out there. More specifically, it's going to be the big dudes. We're talking the guards. We're talking the tight ends, the edge rushers, those really big guys that not don't really get as much attention as the Genties of the world, as the Hunters of the world. And Luke Kandra, excuse me, got 33 reps, which is ridiculous at 225 bench press. And it's insane to see this line and list of guys. I mean, it literally goes by 33, 32, 32, 32. Like you're just seeing guys putting up these ridiculous numbers. And you got to give them credit, man. I mean, they are really trying to put their name out there. It's a little bit harder to do with a different position. So I'm extremely happy and excited to see that. Next thing we got the LeBron, man. Oh man, my glorious king, LeBron James, my favorite player.
50K, 50K.
50K, man. 50K. That is a lot of points. This man has etched his name already in history when people consider him the GOAT. He just keeps putting his name on the leaderboards of all these ridiculous stats. He's now at 50K points for both the playoffs and the regular season combined. We're talking all these points bunched up together. One complete stat, it'd be 50K points. It is just a ridiculous milestone that I don't even think is going to get touched ever, but at least in
Probably
our
not.
lifetimes, probably not. Yeah. I
Probably not.
mean, just seeing how the NBA is, yes, and there is a lot more points now. There is more 3 points being shot, but in terms of longevity, like LeBron, I don't think anybody can keep their body that healthy for that long, like LeBron has. It's just ridiculous stuff, man. And just on that topic of LeBron, he obviously plays for the Lakers. And now we got guys like Luca who just keeps giving us all these triple doubles. He literally just gave us one against the Pelicans their last game. And you see guys like LeBron, him playing with Luca. It's just been really exciting to watch. He dropped another triple double against his former team, the Mavs. Luca's looking really comfortable with the Lakers. They now have the 2 seed in the West. It's insane to see that as a fan of the Lakers. I'm just so impressed how they're able to adapt with Luca, considering they just got rid of AD. AD was a huge part of that offense, and they were just able to easily slot Luca in, and now they're just clicking really, really well. So it's good to see
Speaking of
that,
the
man.
West, speaking of the West, you see who's moving up as well? My Warriors, back they're up to six
Dude,
now.
everybody looks really good right now. Now it's starting to look a lot more competitive, which is what I wanted once the trades were made. So as a Lakers fan, I'm just happy that we're doing well because I didn't want them to get any worse. But I'm already extremely like just
Speaking of, did you see the game? I think it was about a week, a few days ago when Curry dropped 50,
he
56.
did. He
Dropped
dropped almost his
56.
career high. It was ridiculous numbers. Dude,
But
he's
have you
so
seen
good
that? Have you
still.
seen that day? He's dropped 50. He's dropped three 50 point. I think 3 50 point games on that day. Or he's either, I think he had 45, 52, and 56, I think,
I believe
or
so.
something like
Yeah,
that.
a
It's
ridiculous
that
stat.
day.
Yeah.
So I saw everyone in the comments like, this day needs to be named National Curry Day.
Hey man, he has a thing for the spotlight. He has that day. It's pretty cool stuff. I'm just happy for the NBA right now. I mean, currently now more people are starting to watch it. It's getting a lot more interesting. It's not as boring as it once was, especially in the beginning of the season. I felt like nobody was really talking about the NBA.
It
So
was
it's
a week ago. It was a week ago from today. It was the 27th. So uh February 27th is National Curry Day.
oh,
Stephen Curry Day.
Stephen Curry Day, man. That's good to see. He's doing really good still. I'm glad that he's still playing at the level he is right now.
Hmm.
And now we got speaking of playing at a high level, man. I mean, Roki Sasaki, we're all Dodger fans here. I would hope so at least. But if you're from the LA, excuse me, like us, both like Mike and I mean, dude, Roki Sasaki. I mean, everybody. I know so many people were giving him a lot of bad press, especially considering that he was in a sim game where the first batter he faced, his name's Kyle Teal for the White Sox, took him deep. First guy he faced in the big league in the professional, I guess, at bat took him deep. So everybody's like, oh no, this guy's overrated. I'm like, dude, just wait until he gets into a real game.
Same thing happened with Yamamoto. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
same.
like with Yamamoto, yeah, it was literally the first game of the season. I'm like, come on, man. Like they were all just downplaying him. Just stop down. I think people need to learn stop downplaying these Japanese guys. These guys are really good at the sport. They're much better than you'll ever be. So I mean, they're just really good. The more you
I
keep
think it's just
talking,
I think it's just salty Padre fans, to be
probably. It's
honest.
salty MLB fans because nobody likes the Dodgers now, man. But anyway, he struck out five in his spring debut, and he wasn't not only was he striking out five, this man was looking untouchable. He was looking ridiculously
Shutouts,
good. His
three
splitter
shutouts.
was filthy. His splitter was just unbelievable. It was moving nasty, man. It was just having like a curveball 12-6 type of movement. Just really unfair movement. And yeah, he's going to be a stud. We all knew it, but people just don't want to accept it, which, hey, man, I don't really blame them. I would be hating on the Dodgers too, honestly. So yeah, now we're still on the contrary of baseball. And my last thing I want to talk about, at least today, and it's going to be the Yankees' hair policy, man. I think this is such an interesting rule because so many people hate it, like myself. I never really understood it, and it caught a lot of flack as well when what's
All
his
those
name, Devin
players be losing
Williams.
their aura. They'd be losing their aura
Yeah,
after
like it is such
that.
a bizarre rule. I understand. I can get behind it, but now in today's age, it's just people want to express themselves, and it's like it just feels old and corny. But it's so strange, and it really started. The whole saga really started with a guy named Devin Williams for them. He had his beard for 6 years. 6 years he had this beard on his face, and he's like, I've never really shaved it. I've never shaved my beard. I don't know what I even look like. I don't know how it feels. I don't remember. So he shaved his beard. They forced him to shave his beard. He came into camp with it still on. Then they told him, like, hey, you got to shave that off, or you won't be allowed to play spring training with us. So he was like, okay. So he shaved it the next day. This man was looking completely different, a different person essentially. So he shaved it off. And right after that, a couple weeks later, like about 1 or 2 weeks, that the Yankees announced that they're allowed to have beards now. They're allowed to have well-groomed beards. So now he has to regrow it and just start from scratch. As they literally told him he wouldn't be allowed to play if he had it on. So pretty funny. But there is going to be still a restriction. It has to be well groomed. It can't be just out all over the place. It needs to be a well groomed beard, well shaved. Excuse me. And yeah, it's a really funny and bizarre rule, but this is where we're at in baseball. This is where we're at in the world where people want to express themselves, especially major league athletes, guys who are very loud and expressive. They love throwing the bats in the air when they hit home runs. They love celebrating after catches. So I think it's just really funny. And the guy who set this whole rule for the Yankees, his name is George Steinbrenner. His son, Hal Steinbrenner, is the one who announced that it won't happen. So I know his dad might be rolling in his grave hearing all this, especially after they lost the World Series and how they lost Juan Soto. But that's the Yankees' fault. I just think it's a very bizarre rule because it is. I mean, it's facial hair. It's the only sport that does this, the only team that does this. I understand how
Progressive,
old they are, but it's just
progressive,
weird.
progressive mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Especially in
I don't
today's
know,
day and
man.
age.
Yeah, I can see why they do it. I can get kind of behind it, but it's just like, dude, it's 2025, bro. What are we doing?
But I mean, that's why I didn't work at In-N-Out. They wanted me to cover my tattoos, shave my beard, and then cut my hair. I was like,
Bro,
I'm good. I don't need a job that
it's
bad.
not. Yeah, I don't know if it's an area of concern anymore, man. But with all that being said, man, you can take the spotlight, Mike. I'm all done talking with my subjects. You should be ready to
All
go,
right.
dog.
I got a lot to start, but little update on last episode. Obviously, last episode we talked about Canada versus USA. They were playing at the time. That game we actually won 3-2. So everyone was going crazy after that. Then we went and played Canada again in the in that final, and unfortunately, Canada beat us 3-2.
I heard
Um,
about that.
I literally I was watching the game. I left to the store. I literally came back from the store. We were in overtime. As soon as I walked in, my roommates were watching on the TV, and they scored the overtime goal. And I was sitting there like,
It's brutal, bro.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, it's promising for USA Hockey. It's promising. It
It is
looks promising for
promising.
them for the Olympics. I think in 2 years. I think
Hmm.
yeah, 2 years.
Yeah,
So
the Winter
Olympics in two
Olympics coming
years.
up.
Um, so it's promising for them. Uh, but I really wanted to just beat Canada at their own sport.
Yeah.
We beat them once, so I'll take it. You know, they still lost their own sport. But you know, I'll take it. But it was still devastating to see they beat us in the
Yeah.
final, the final, per se. But and a little update on Champions League. Obviously, I went over last time the potential uh games here. So, but now with the lineups all set, here's what we got. So now the matches are set. We have 1 second here. We have Barcelona versus Benfica, which they already played. I think Barcelona is leading 1-0 on aggregate. Then we have Inter versus Feyenoord, which they're up 2-0 on aggregate. So, and then Liverpool versus PSG. Liverpool's leading 1-0 on aggregate. Then you got Leverkusen versus Bayern. Bayern's actually gotten some revenge from last season. Both German teams, so they played each other a few times. But Bayern's up 3-0 on aggregate. Then you got Lille versus Dortmund, 1-1 on aggregate, so they're tied. Everything to play for in that next match. Then you got Aston Villa versus Club Brugge, up 3-1 on aggregate. And then Arsenal destroyed PSV 7-1 on aggregate right now.
Oh
So
wow.
I mean that second match is they'd have to score 6 goals to even put it into extra time, but I don't see that happening. I see that as a comfortable win for Arsenal and going to the next round. And then you got and I hope for this match the Madrid derby, Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid is up 2-1 on aggregate. So still everything to play for in that next game. You know, you never know with that one. So some close games besides obviously the Arsenal one, and maybe the Bayern one. Leverkusen had their dream season last season, but I think Bayern's just going to be too good for this season. So far that is the update with the Champions League. And speaking of soccer, JJ Watt had a bet with his Aston Villa keeper that if he had a clean sheet throughout this rest of the season, he would come out of retirement and play for the Bengals. So they went 12 games without allowing a goal, which is ridiculous. 12 games without a goal, that's crazy. He was close to setting a record. But I believe in the 13th game, he finally allowed a goal. So JJ Watt will not be playing for the Bengals next season. He tweeted out he said I didn't like Skyline Chili anyways.
Uh,
So
I
that's
think
pretty
bro just
funny.
wants to come back at this point.
I really think he does. I think
He's
he
just
just
teasing
wants
us,
to.
man. He wants to come back.
He really does. I mean, anyways, but real quick before we get into all the off-season madness, a few other things. Obviously, you forgot to mention with basketball, Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. The
He did tear his ACL.
Mavs are not looking good. I'll be honest.
Yeah. It
They're
would suck to be a fan right now, dude.
so many of their players are out. Plus the Luka
Mhm.
trade is just, eesh, not looking great for them. And then Another thing that's not football related, but Carlos Sainz, which he drove for Ferrari. So he's been around a few teams. He started at Red Bull in their junior team. Then he moved to McLaren, and then he was at Ferrari. And then this season he just moved over to Williams, which is a lower team than Ferrari, but he got replaced by Lewis Hamilton. Some consider him the GOAT of the sport, obviously. So I mean, you can't really fault Ferrari for that, but you also like, it sucks because Carlos is such a great driver. My mom's favorite driver, actually. He's, Spanish driver, but he had the fastest overall time in preseason testing, which is crazy to do in a Williams. I mean, he looked so good in the Williams. I really hope he just proves all that his haters wrong. I hope he just continues to prove that he's a great driver. Um, Even in the Williams, I hope he can just excel that team, and I really hope he gets a chance at a bigger team because I think he really could compete for a championship with the likes of Max and Charles and Lando. Even though I don't really like Lando Norris, that's just my opinion. I personally don't like it. I get a lot of heat. I would get a lot of heat for saying that, but but obviously you don't know who these is, but these are F1 drivers. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'm a
like
little aware of F1, but
F
I've tried to get
F1
into
driver
it.
F1, it's like driving, but like with drama. It's like the Real Housewives of Europe almost. It's so fun. It's so funny, and then it's just so funny to see. But I'm really into F1. Um, Actually, I got some new Lego sets, new F1 Lego sets just came out. Just got those, so excited to build those. But jumping into the football side, the big I think it was everything. Yeah, football side. So there's a lot. I got a lot. I saw something funny before we jump into the offseason. I saw something funny reported by JPA per the HuffPost. Giants, obviously, Lawrence Taylor said he did not remember getting drafted by the Giants because he drank 41 Coors Lights that day.
Bizarre stuff, man.
It's so funny. I saw an interview. He never knew who he was playing. Like he never knew any team besides the Giants. He didn't even know the teams he didn't even know the Cowboys, the Redskins, Eagles. He didn't know any teams. So when he became and that's still to this day, he doesn't know. Like he literally just put on his uniform and went out there and balled out and did not care who he was playing.
He's just a football guy, man. What can he say?
That's next level. But that's not even when he was playing. That's like now, like when he went to I think he did like a pundit part when he was talking. He's like, "Oh, what's that team from I don't know, like New Orleans or something he said. I can't remember which one he teamed, but he didn't even know what the teams were. So I thought that was crazy. Um anyway, so jumping in to some off-season stuff. The NFL is actually replacing the first down chains with a lot electronic measurement this season.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So similar to also the MLB has their review
Electronic umps,
system,
yeah.
their review system. So we're seeing sports move out of these referee based decisions. I think this is another decision affected by the Bills Chiefs game
It is.
where Josh Cross, I mean, it
It
points to
definitely
those teams.
is. Yeah.
So, but I mean, we'll see how these play out and how these work.
Yeah.
Hopefully it just makes the sport better. Hopefully it doesn't make the sports, more suspect, if I guess you could say. But hopefully that makes it better. Um, and then I'm not a Cardinals fan, but I am from Arizona. They had the worst offseason report card. They ranked 32nd. They ranked 29th in treatment of families, 30th in food and dining, 22nd in nutritionist and dietitian, 32nd in locker room, 32nd in training room, 31st in training staff, 31st weight room, 31st strength coaches, 20th in team travel, 8th in head coach, and 30th in ownership.
My
That is
God.
abysmal for an organization to rank dead last. And it's not like even these grades were worse. D, D, B, F, D, C, F, C plus, B, A, D. Those are mostly D's and F's. Like you're failing right now.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So like I'm not a Cardinals fan, but I feel like you have to do something about that as an owner. Like
Yeah.
you gotta
You
do
still
something.
got that
You
needs to be
gotta
addressed.
You got to
Definitely needs to
invest
be
some
addressed.
money into fixing some of that stuff because that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Still a big Trey
But
McBride fan though.
look,
That's my
I
guy.
love Trey.
That's my guy, bro. That's my guy.
Finally got a touchdown after like 16, 15 weeks of football,
Yeah.
man.
He
Jeez.
still balls out though. He still gets his yard. I ain't tripping.
Oh yeah, he still gets the fantasy points.
Yep.
Moving on to off season, longtime Eagles star Jason Peters announced he's retiring. Um, as a Cowboy fan, I'm kind of excited that he's retiring. But I got a game respects game. I mean, he's been a solid offensive lineman for the Eagles for many years. Um, shout out to him. Uh, Myles Garrett was willing to negotiate a contract extension. So, oh wait, sorry. So he's unwilling. They slammed the door shut on any. His agents just slammed it shut on. So it looks like he's going somewhere, but where he's going, we don't know yet. But the Browns are definitely going to have to get a lot for him. So hopefully not the Eagles.
Yeah,
I
I
really
pray
hope it's not the
too,
Eagles.
dude. Dude, I'm not trying to have the Packers lose to them again, bro. Like, it was cool one time, but like twice as crazy work.
But I know I think last time I mentioned Matthew Stafford. So they finalized a deal with LA, so it looks like he's going back to LA for a little bit. I don't remember if I saw anything about what the terms were, but at least I saw that he was signing back. And then I was going to mention that 49ers receivers were getting shopped around, and then all of a sudden Debo Samuel got traded to the Commanders for a fifth round pick.
That was crazy. That's such a bad trade.
He got traded for the Big Mac he loves to eat, bro. I mean,
Dude, that is insane. You got trade for
as
chips.
some people like to say. You know
Yep.
what I mean? No offense to Debo. I mean, great player. Not a great season last year, but on top of
Yeah.
that, Ayuk is also getting shopped around too. It's
He
like
is. I heard about that.
I think we're gonna see him get traded as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Debo Samuel to the Commanders. I mean, I wanted to see Cooper Cup there, but I feel like that hopefully that works out. We'll see if he can revitalize himself over there in Washington. Um, and then T Higgins, he said he would,
Yep.
and he reported his own thing. He got tagged. He got franchise tagged
Yep.
with the Bengals.
Franchise
So that's
tag.
another season that he's going to be there in Cincy. And then on top of that, Devontae Adams, another receiver, he got released by the Jets. So we'll see where him and his boyfriend Aaron Rodgers go. Um, like package deal, you know what I mean? But they
Yeah.
released him, so they're going somewhere. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. I hadn't even seen reports that he didn't like they wouldn't go together at some time. But I'm like, nah, they're probably still gonna
No.
be together on the same
Yeah,
team.
it's definitely a package deal. It's like when you're in, in PE class and you're like, no, we're a package deal. Like where I go, he goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Uh, is Saquon getting highest paid running back in NFL history with a 2-year, $41 million extension. I don't want to be a Cowboys fan sometimes.
Ah, dude,
That
I know
man's a
that
beast.
division is disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. Giants are getting better
This is
too. They're getting younger, so yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I
and
don't know.
Jerry Jones reported that he was not going to do anything this offseason. And
Oh
also
my,
I've
are
seen
you
reports
serious?
that
I
they're
thought you guys
yes.
what,
And
bro?
I've
I thought
seen
you guys were
reports
like saving money.
no, dude. I've seen well, they restructured CD's
Yeah,
contract.
and Dax as
I don't know.
well.
Finally I don't know if they did.
Oh, I don't know. I know it was the two of those guys though. I saw in a report. So I'm just like, I don't know.
Did they restructure his contract?
I believe so. Yeah, it was Dax as well. Dak and CDs,
Oh,
and so
okay.
they can have more cap space.
I only saw CDs, but hopefully they re-signed Michael Parsons. But I really
Mm.
wanted him. I've seen reports that they're not going to draft Ashton Genty,
I
and
heard
I'm
about
like,
that too. Yeah, I did see that.
if he is on the board, and you pass on him, me and your entire like, I don't think I can support the Cowboys this season. I told him I was like, if we do not sign Ashton Genty, I after the season, I don't want to deal until Jerry is gone. Until Jerry is gone, the Jones
Yeah,
family is no longer involved, and we actually have some like until we have a Howie Roseman. Like he is I hate to say it, but Howie Roseman, like he is the best GM in the NFL right now, and that is the reason they just won a Super Bowl.
yeah, for sure.
And that's what the Bengals need. That the Bengals too. Like they have Joe Burrow. They need a better GM. Cowboys need a better GM. Like those teams are both good teams, but they're going to be mediocre until they have that mentality of going out and getting these players.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, Saquon has another 2 years of terrorizing the NFC East. Um, then I saw this. There were two teams that are picking in the top 10 and need a QB. And with their 15-minute meeting with Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur Sanders did not care too much what they had or the organization felt of him. And I'm like, and I saw the top comment was the dude's dad calls himself Prime. What did y'all expect?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, that really, in reality, that makes sense. I'm
It does
like,
make sense for sure.
his dad is Deion Sanders. Did you
Yup.
expect him to have a different mentality? Like, no.
Come on, man. They're some of the most athletic and competitive people on the planet, essentially, bro. Like, come on, what do you expect?
You can't go to Deion Sanders' son and expect him to have a different mentality. That's not how he was raised. Like, come on. Anyways, and then a little surprise. I was actually surprised by this. Speaking of the Bengals, Sam Hubbard announced his retirement.
Yeah, that was
I don't know if
weird.
you saw that.
I did see that.
I
Yeah.
mean, mad respect to him, keeping your body like healthy and whatnot. But I didn't. I thought. I mean, he led the NFL in sacks this year. No,
He did. He did. I believe he
so
was
I
like
mean,
top five, and I don't even know if he led. He may have led.
I thought he led it, or was it Hendrickson?
Yeah, let me
I don't
check.
remember. I don't remember, but I felt like Sam Hubbard had a decent season, so
Yeah.
I was like, I was really surprised by that. But I mean, I support the
Yeah.
whole like,
It was Hendrickson. So he was top. He
yeah,
was
okay,
definitely
oh,
top three.
okay, it was Hendrickson, okay. So must have got it mixed up, but still, at 29 years of age, I mean, I don't know, it's young, but at least you're making money and
Yeah,
you're
it
good to
is.
go. But I don't know, I thought that was still kind of crazy to see. Um, Trades, Joe Thuney. The Chiefs traded him to the Bears. I didn't
Hmm.
see what they traded him for, but that's really good for Kalen Williams. Ben
Hmm.
Johnson already like getting his quarterback some protection. So
Yeah, they need more than just a really good O line. That seems kind of a mess, but they do have the pieces. So I think if they can help Caleb a little bit more season by season, I think they'll get better for sure.
I think this is a great starting point for them.
Yeah, it
Just
is
getting
a
a
good starting
great
point
a
for
great
sure.
guard.
Hmm.
And then one of the biggest news is DK Metcalf requests a trade from the Seahawks.
Hey man, I would not be upset if he comes to my Packers. Would
I could
not
see him
be
go to
upset.
I could see him go to the Packers or the Patriots.
Patriots would be a nice fit as well for sure. They need
They
a
do. They
receiver.
need a wide receiver one. I think I saw reports that they were already calling about him. They also called about AJ Brown. If you didn't know,
Mhm. I
they
did know
called
about
the
that. Yeah,
Eagles. They said
they
if
would be.
they asked
Ayuk could be a good fit there as well because I think he has connections with the
maybe
Patriots. Because I believe Adrian. Yeah, with Ayuk, he. The only reason I say Patriots is because Ayuk was a fan of the Patriots. So I'm like, all
oh
right.
okay. I
So
still
he has
think
like
they need
connections
that.
with that city.
Yeah, I still think they need that big wide receiver one.
They do.
Like
Yeah, they definitely do.
I think if they trade for Ayuk, I think they should draft my boy T Mac from the
Oh,
Wildcats. You need that big wide receiver one, and then you have a wide receiver two in Ayuk. So
yeah,
I
that'd be
think if
pretty
they do that.
fire. Yeah, no, a lot of things can happen if they do trade. So it'd be pretty cool. Limitless opportunities.
And speaking of the Seahawks and wide receivers, Tyler Lockett got released.
Oh yeah,
Their wide receiver room is disintegrating
straight
before our
up, dude.
eyes.
I saw that, and it was all like in one day. I'm like, wow, you guys are just gonna announce
I
all
know
these
this
tragedies.
was all like the same day
Yeah,
too.
all these tragedies like back to back. I'm like, bro, that's kind of messed up for the fans.
And speaking of former Seahawks, Bobby Wagner re-signed with the Commanders.
Mm.
Honestly, and that was today. He signed with the Commanders today. Honestly, that was he was one of the best players, best linebackers in the NFL last season at his age. So I mean, if he can continue to play at his level at the age, I mean, I don't really think it matters what his age is. You know what I mean? As long as
For
he's
sure.
performing, which he had a great
Yeah.
season last year. He was one of the reasons that defense was so like as good as it was. Um, and then speaking of now moving over to defensive ends, Joey Bosa got released by the Chargers, so we'll see where he lands. Maybe we'll see him in San Francisco with his brother. I mean, that would be kind
I
of
think a lot of people are
that'd be
thinking
crazy.
that that would be kind of crazy. I would not want that, bro. Dude, Niner fans would be talking like they're the best team in the world. I'm like, bro, y'all have like a cupcake schedule coming up. Like, bro, I don't want to hear it.
I mean, with all their, I mean, they're losing their wide receivers, so they don't have to pay them. So we'll
This is
see
true, bro. So I
if they
wouldn't be
sign
surprised.
Joey.
You got to keep Nick happy. So I'm like, bro, I would not be surprised, honestly.
Yeah. And then speaking of Max Crosby, it's a 3 year, $106.5 million extension with the Raiders. I believe that makes him the highest paid non QB athlete as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's
That's
in, I think
crazy.
that's in history too.
Oh
But
wow.
I mean, they're putting his faith in Max, man. I mean,
Nah, same with the Raiders is
everything.
crazy work, bro. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
mean, I don't know if they draft a good
They just need to draft well. If
QB.
they don't, then yeah, that's a terrible move.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see where that goes. But I think that's it for the offseason. I mean, that it's been a crazy offseason so far, and we're just getting started. We got the draft coming up. On top of that, we got March Madness coming up. So that I think next episode we should have our brackets. I believe. Let me see when March Madness starts here. Um, March Madness 2025. Uh, okay, so the selection is on the 16th, I think. Yeah, selection Sunday is on the 16th. So I think next episode will be on the 20th. So we'll have our brackets ready and we'll see if the date if it's already started, then we'll see how our brackets look. Um, but and I think just spring training and then basketball season still going on. It's
Mm-hmm.
coming up, but
Yeah, the Dodgers are actually gonna fly over to Japan, dude. They're gonna get ready for that game, those couple
mhm.
games, because they're gonna play early March. Excuse me, late March. So that's gonna
Who
be
are they playing?
fun. They're playing the Cubs over in Tokyo.
Okay, like the same thing when they played the Padres last season.
Exactly, yeah, just like that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Again, really appreciate everyone listening and you know listening to me out for about 30 minutes straight about football. Um, Thank you again to our guest Fernando. This has been America's Team in Dodger Blue podcast that was all about Lambeau, Lone Star, and LA, and everything else sports. I've been Michael and
I
Aiden.
made it. Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.